A small pill bottle lay open on the marble sink. Beside it, 2 pills had melted into a chalky paste, leaving white streaks like claw marks across the stone. I stared at the mess, my heart racing. Those tablets should save my life, I thought. Why do they look fake? Behind me, hallway lights clicked off one by one. Somewhere in the mansion, a soft laugh, sweet musical, floated in the dark. Just 2 months earlier, that same laugh had charmed the whole household. Serena Cole stepped from a black car in a gold silk dress, sunlight flashing on her smooth hair. She kissed my cheek and called me mother in a voice warm as tea. Serena, your home is lovely. I promise to protect it. Protect? My dear, just be happy here. Marcus, my only son, stood close, eyes bright with love. Servants lined the veranda. One whispered, her smile could light the chapel. Another answered, bright lights can also blind. Inside, I watched Serena touch every room as if measuring it for a crown. The cook, Aunt Mabel, later swore she saw tiny sparks where Serena's fingers grazed polished wood. Within weeks, Serena asked to handle household bills. Serena, Mother, you work too hard. Let me sort these papers. I studied accounts in college. Me, if you wish. The files are in the study. That evening, while I was elsewhere, Serena sat alone at my desk. She opened a new credit account online, typed my full name, and copied my signature onto a blank pad until each loop matched. She hummed a soft tune, almost a lullaby, as she spent the first $1,000,000 on a diamond bracelet. The next morning, she placed neat folders back on the shelf and served me tea. Me? You look busy already. Busy making your world easier. I sipped, unaware the first strand of a silent web had settled across my life. I rose at 5 each morning. The routine was ironclad: a quiet prayer, a glass of warm water, and 1 white pill to steady my blood pressure before sunrise duties in the cocoa office. The pill was small but powerful, my private guard against the stroke that had claimed my own mother at 60. I was 58 and meant to keep breathing past 90. 2 weeks after Serena took the ledgers, she entered my bathroom carrying a silver tray of fresh towels. "Let me tidy this shelf," she said, voice sweet. I, tying my scarf in the bedroom mirror, nodded absently. With me out of sight, she found my pill bottle, eyed the label, Lodapress 20 milligrams, and smiled. From her dress pocket, she produced an identical bottle. She unscrewed both tops. The real tablets in my bottle were oval, stamped L20. Serena's fakes were perfect in shape and color, except they contained only chalk and sugar, pressed in a backstreet lab she had found online. One by one, she tipped the real pills into her own bottle, clicked the lid, and slipped it back into her pocket. Then she poured the fake pills into my bottle, closed it, and returned it neatly to the shelf. Serena, Mother, I've put fresh towels for you. I thanked Serena, entered, took the labeled bottle, and swallowed the substitute tablet with a sip of warm water, completely unaware. For the first 3 days, I felt nothing. On day 4, I stood to brief a foreman, and the room tilted. I gripped the desk, laughed it off. By day 6, I woke with throbbing temples. I checked the medicine, but saw no problem. Serena watched me keenly. Over breakfast, she asked in casual tones, "Mother, did you sleep well?" I admitted I felt a little dizzy, but said I would not slow down. Later, she carried gossip to the staff corridor. "Madam skips meals, speaks to herself. I fear for her health." Aunt Mabel overheard and frowned. She kept quiet, yet her eyes tracked Serena more closely after that. A week later, the company hosted a new warehouse tour. Investors from Lagos, 2 trade bank officers, and 1 cocoa bean broker arrived in dark suits. I led them through the wide, spotless building that smelled of fresh timber and fermenting beans. Marcus walked beside me, proud. Serena drifted along wearing a white sun hat, greeting suits with perfect English. Halfway down a conveyor line, my vision pulsed. Machines seemed to blur like heat waves. I took 1 step, then another, but my knees buckled. I dropped my folder, papers flew like startled doves. Marcus lunged forward. A guard steadied my other arm. My heart hammered. Sweat beaded my forehead. "Marcus, sit. Let's get water." Me forcing a shaky smile. "I'm fine. Maybe the air is dry." Serena produced a handkerchief, dabbed my forehead with tender care, but her eyes glittered. Investors murmured. 1 bank officer whispered, "Is she ill?" Another frowned at the mishap. Back in my office, Marcus urged me to go to the clinic. I refused. "Just low sugar," I insisted. I took another tablet from my bottle, swallowing trouble yet believing safety. That evening, Serena knocked on Marcus's door, concerned about painting her face. She spoke very softly, like a mother calming a baby. Serena, love, investors looked worried today. If mother keeps pushing herself, we might lose their trust. Marcus, she will not step back. She built this company. Then at least let me help more. We can show partners there's fresh energy. She kissed his forehead, warm and caring, but inside she locked another step of her plan. The next morning, Serena arranged a private lunch with 2 minority shareholders at the Royal Palm Hotel. They believed it was casual. Over grilled fish, she sighed gently. Serena, mother is dear to me, but she forgets invoices lately. She repeats numbers. I keep fixing small mistakes. I worry about bigger ones. One shareholder, Mr. Green, raised an eyebrow. We need strong leadership if global prices fall again. Serena touched his sleeve with a gentle, exactly. 2 days later, the story reached the Lagos finance desk as a whisper. Grace Adams may be sliding into early dementia. Share prices shifted a fraction. Small, but Serena watched the graph like a hunter, noting hoof prints. My dizziness worsened. I collapsed in my bedroom one morning. Marcus called the doctor who prescribed blood tests and told me to rest. Serena stood by the window, eyes on my pill bottle. The doctor changed nothing, trusting my declared medicine schedule. He told me to increase water intake, certain that dehydration was the culprit. I agreed and dutifully swallowed the next chalk tablet that night. 6 weeks after Serena swapped the pills, Adams Cocoa held its semi-annual investors' lunch in the Grand Carlton Hotel, a large round ballroom with white linen and gold trim. I arrived in a navy dress, head high but posture stiff. Pain pulsed behind my eyes. I spoke to a hall of 60, bankers, export partners, and 2 state agriculture officials. My speech began steady. First quarter profits up 8%. New warehouse near Apata online next month. Then I lost my place. A chart slide advanced, but I forgot to click my laser pointer. Silence stretched. Serena, seated at Marcus's right, leaned toward Mr. Green. We checked that slide 6 times yesterday, she whispered. I cleared my throat, found my line, continued, but my hands trembled. I finished early, my voice thin. Applause came, polite but softer than usual. I sat. Beads of sweat dotted my upper lip. During dessert, Serena drifted to a side table where 5 middle-aged investors sipped espresso. She folded her arms, sighed just loud enough. Mr. Green asked, Madam Serena, is Grace well? She looked tired. Serena bit her lower lip, eyes glossy. Serena, I try not to speak, but she mixes invoices and sometimes forgets she signed things. Marcus and I offered to ease her load, but she insists on working. Mrs. Shaw frowned. That is risky for export shipping. Serena nodded softly. I love her like a second mother. I only want the company to be safe. The investors exchanged worried glances. Serena sipped juice, hiding a smile. That evening, Mr. Green phoned Marcus. Your mother's health raises concern. You might prepare for a transition talk. Marcus hung up stunned. He confronted me. Mom, they doubt your mind. Humiliated, I locked myself in my study and stared at the ledgers Serena had cleaned. My head throbbed, and I wondered if I truly had lost memory. The next morning, I called Serena to the garden. Birds chirped, hibiscus bloomed, but tension pressed the air. Me, investors question my fitness. What did you tell them? Serena, eyes wide, nothing but love. They asked, I said you were tired, I worry about you. My knees weakened again. Serena rushed forward with a chair. Sit, mother. Let me fetch your medicine. I took the bottle. A pill landed on my tongue. Serena handed me water. I swallowed. She stroked my shoulder. We need you strong. Perhaps let me handle some meetings? Ashamed of my weakness, I nodded. Serena kissed my cheek, then walked away, smiling hidden as she passed the hedge. Aunt Mabel had run the Adams kitchen for 20 years. She knew every creak of the pantry door, every taste of every spice. Nothing escaped her steady eyes, not even the new mistress's quiet tricks. It began on a gray Monday afternoon. Lunch dishes were washed, staff napped, and the house sank into its sleepy hour. Mabel crossed the dining room to shut the drapes when she saw Serena alone at the far end of the table. The young woman bent over a stack of linen napkins, pen gliding in slow, careful loops. Mabel stopped, half hidden by a tall chair. Serena wrote the same name over and over, Grace L. Adams, Grace L. Adams, Grace L. Adams. Each line looked perfect, but Serena still shook her wrist, frowned, and tried again. When a footman's cart rattled in the hall, she stuffed the napkins under a plate and flashed her honey smile. Mabel's stomach knotted. She hurried back to the kitchen, pulled out her old cell phone, and made sure the camera still worked. Something bad is growing, she thought, and I must catch its root. That night, Mabel pretended to polish silverware in the pantry, while Serena sorted bills in my study. Through the cracked door, Mabel saw Serena lift blank checks, practice on tracing paper, then sign 3 real checks with elegant ease. The pen never shook now. When Serena left, humming, Mabel darted in. 2 checks lay drying, 10 million naira for Royal Gems Limited, and 6 million for Regal Designs. Both bore my name. Mabel snapped quick photos, her heart banging like a mortar pestle. She tucked the checks back exactly, wiped her prints, and fled. 2 days later, a courier brought a package addressed to me. A ruby necklace in a velvet box, plus an invoice marked paid with one of the forged check numbers. I blinked at the paper. I did not buy rubies, I murmured. Marcus and Serena stood nearby. Serena acted surprised. Mabel waddled forward. Mabel, quiet. Madam, may we talk in private? Pale and shaky, I let myself be guided to the pantry. Mabel locked the door, pulled up the photos on her phone, and showed them. I gasped. My fingers trembled as I scrolled. Me. My signature, but that is not my hand. I have more. She alters checks often. I've watched her. I pressed a palm to my temple. I feared my mind was failing. Now I see another hand. But Mabel was not finished. She pointed at the pill bottle I kept in the kitchen drawer for late-night headaches. These tablets look wrong, madam. The edge is powdery. Me, horse, get Dr. Quinn tonight and find Officer John Thompson. Tell no one else. Mabel nodded. Her eyes, normally soft, now gleamed like hot oil. Dr. Quinn arrived at sunset, his black bag swinging. I sat stiff in the study. Serena was out shopping in town. Mabel handed the doctor 2 pill bottles, one from my bedside, the other an unopened sample Quinn kept in his car. He placed a tablet from each bottle into separate glasses of water. The real Lotapress sank slow, edges intact. My household tablet fizzed, broke apart, and turned the water milky. Dr. Quinn, this tablet has no active drug. It is chalk. Your blood pressure has risen because your body thinks you stopped taking medicine. I gripped the chair arms. Can you write that in simple words on your letterhead? I need proof. Quinn wrote a short, clear note and signed it. Enter the forensics man, retired Inspector John Thompson. Stocky, gray-browed, and always chewing clove gum, set up his portable microscope on my desk. He spread 3 items. The original check for the ruby, a check I had truly signed last month, and Serena's practice napkin Mabel had saved. Under magnification, he explained, real signatures flow like river lines, no breaks, no stops. Forged ones show hesitation marks, tiny ink pools where the pen pauses to copy. Copyists often lift the pen at odd places. Micro gaps prove that. I leaned over the scope, saw tiny dots and shaky curves on the ruby check. On my true check, lines looked smooth, alive. Thompson, the same person forged all these. I'd stake my badge on it. He sealed his report, added photo proofs, and slid it across the table. I thanked him, my voice steady now like steel cooling. Me, tomorrow, only the family will dine. We will serve these papers instead of dessert. But Marcus must see it live, not whispered, and Serena must have no chance to hide. Mabel's hands twitched with anger. May I cook her favorite dish, madam? Sweet prawns with pepper sauce. Let it sting on her tongue when truth stings her ears. I almost smiled. Yes, Mabel. Make it unforgettable. I prayed for strength, for truth to stand, for Marcus's heart not to break beyond repair, for justice that is firm but not cruel. When I rose, I placed the real Lotapress bottle on my nightstand, swallowed 1 pill, and felt the calming weight of proper medicine spread through my veins. Sunlight painted long stripes across the driveway. Serena returned from shopping with 2 new dresses and a sparkling necklace. She found me in the garden, sipping weak tea. Serena, Mother, you look brighter today. Yes, child. Real rest helps. Serena, I chose a dress for tomorrow's board meeting. Shall I show you later? We'll see it at dinner tonight. A small family meal. Her eyes flicked, surprise, then pleasure. Family dinners are lovely, she said. At noon, Marcus came to show me new warehouse photos. I hugged him longer than usual. My son, you trust your wife, yes? Of course. Why? Tonight you will see many things. Stand calm. Truth may hurt, but it saves. He looked puzzled but agreed. I kissed his cheek like when he was 10. As he left, I whispered a prayer for his strength. 6 plates, family silver, no extra guests. Candles waited unlit. I wanted clear light tonight. Mabel's sweet pepper prawns filled the room with sharp, pleasant heat. A small bowl of lime garnish glowed at each place. I entered last, wearing the gray dress, my husband's cufflink glinting near my throat. The silver tray rested under a linen cloth at the sideboard. Mabel stood at attention behind my chair, face calm but eyes blazing. Marcus pulled out Serena's chair. She glided into it, pearl studs winking. Her hand brushed his arm, soft claws sheathed in silk. I lifted my water glass. To my family, I said. All echoed. I sipped, pupils steady, blood pressure finally calm. No one noticed the faint tremor in Serena's fingers when she reached for her napkin. She thought it was excitement. She did not know it was the first small sign that her perfect web was about to tear. The main course finished, and the servants cleared plates in swift silence. Serena dabbed her lips with a linen napkin and flashed Marcus a tender smile. I could see she felt it was time to begin her gentle push for my rest. But before she could speak, I lifted a hand. Aye, one more serving tonight. I nodded to Aunt Mabel. 2 footmen in white gloves stepped forward, carrying a broad silver tray under a linen cloth. Candlelight bounced off its polished rim. They placed it in front of Serena. Serena, my dear, please reveal dessert. Her brow creased. She had not ordered any special finale with Mabel. Still, she curled her fingers around the cloth corner and lifted. Inside lay no cake, no fruit, but a neat stack of papers, a small pill bottle, and a folded medical note. On top sat a velvet napkin embroidered with looping practice signatures, my name repeated like a warning echo. For a heartbeat, no one moved. The only sound was the distant kitchen clock ticking, loud in the hush. Read them, child. Start with the first check. Serena's mouth opened, then closed. Her hand trembled as she picked up the top check. 10 million naira to Royal Gems Limited. She tried to swallow, but her throat stuck. Aloud, please. Our family should hear every figure. Marcus's confused gaze darted from her to me. Serena forced breath into her lungs. Serena, whisper. Check number 7439, 10 million. Payable to Royal Gems, signed Grace L. Adams. Her voice cracked on my surname. She reached for water. Her hand rattled the glass. Papers slipped sideways, revealing a photo of her forging signatures. Marcus saw it. His eyes widened. I spoke gently, almost pitying. The next Serena. She read the 6 million naira check, then a credit card bill for designer dresses, then Dr. Quinn's note. Household tablets contain no active medication. Each word dropped like a pebble in a silent pond, ripples spreading across the table. When she reached the medical note, she faltered. Serena broken? Signed Dr. Martin Quinn. I tapped the small bottle. Would you also explain why my pressure pills became chalk? Her cheeks drained of color. She set the page down as if it burned. Marcus pushed back his chair. Serena? Tell me this is some joke. She opened her mouth, but nothing came. The honey voice had dried to dust. I leaned in, my eyes steady. I once believed your smile, daughter. Tonight I learned smiles can hide claws. Why, Serena? Was the mansion not warm enough? Was my son's love too small? Her gaze darted to the door, calculating. She forced a faint laugh. Serena. Mother, this is a misunderstanding. Maybe a staff error. I raised a hand. The room felt colder. Marcus stared, blinking hard. Serena's chair scraped as she stood. Serena. I need air. My next words sliced the air. We are in the middle of dinner. Sit. Serena backed away, her silk dress whispering. Marcus half rose, indecision carving lines in his face. Serena's heel snagged the carpet. She steadied herself and fled the room. Candles flickered in her wake. I sat very still. I had expected resistance, but not flight. The corridor echoed faintly with her hurried steps. Back in the dining room, Marcus turned to me, hurt swimming in his eyes. Marcus, Mom, please, this cannot all be true. A soft yet firm, go after her, son. See with your own eyes. He hesitated, then sprinted out. From the hallway, I heard Marcus's voice catch Serena in the foyer. Marcus? Serena? What are you doing? I moved to the doorway in time to see her spin, dropping her phone, the duffel half hidden behind a chair. Gems glittered between folded gowns, my bangles unmistakable when Marcus lifted the bag. Marcus, you stole from her. From us. Serena's mask shattered. Fear and fury flashed. Serena, she forced me. She never accepted me. I stepped closer, my voice steady. Acceptance is built on truth, not theft. She backed toward the door, clutching the bag. Let me go, Marcus. I'll fix everything. Just trust me. Marcus shook his head, tears brimming. I trusted you with my life. Sirens wailed faint outside. Officer Thompson had already called security. Serena's eyes darted. She bolted through the front door into the night garden, roses brushing silk. Marcus followed, but stopped at the gravel drive, heart torn between love and betrayal as estate guards closed the gate behind her fleeing figure. He watched her scramble into a taxi, the bag pressed to her chest. Marcus. Why, Serena? No answer. The cab roared off, taillights shrinking like dying embers. I waited near the staircase when Marcus returned, my shoulders straight, though my eyes were damp. My son, truth burns, but it also purifies. Let it hurt now so healing can begin. Marcus covered his face. I feel sick, Mom. I pulled him into my arms, rocking slowly as I had when he was a child afraid of thunder. You are not the one who did wrong. Rain tapping weakly on the roof, her duffel laid bare at security, my gold bangles glinting under harsh lights. Marcus was there with Officer Thompson. He told me how she looked at him, how her pleas rang hollow. He had said the words I could not. Marcus, you chose lies, Serena. I hope one day you choose truth instead. And then the doors closed behind her, rain falling hard at last, rinsing the street clean. The next dawn broke over our estate with no thunder, only soft light sliding across wet leaves. I woke early, as always, but this time my chest felt lighter. The real medicine steadied my pulse. I breathed deep, sensing the storm had passed. I called the staff to the courtyard. Marcus stood beside me, tired yet calm. Thank you for loyalty and hard hours. Today we begin new things. I turned to Aunt Mabel. First, Mabel becomes head of house. She sees what others miss. Her eyes filled with tears as she dipped a deep bow. I unlocked the east wing of the mansion, closed since Marcus's childhood. Cobwebs hung like thin curtains, dust lay thick. I walked each room slowly. These rooms once showed wealth, now they will show welcome. I hired local carpenters to mend floors, paint walls soft cream, and install simple wooden beds. Within 2 weeks, 10 rooms stood ready. A hand-painted sign by the gate read, Farmer's Rest House, free stay for cocoa growers. The first guests arrived on a Wednesday, 3 elderly farmers and 1 teenage grandson, all from a distant village. They had slept on warehouse floors for years whenever they came to market. Now they stared at clean sheets, unsure. Mabel served hot yam porridge. Eat, rest, she said. This house is yours tonight. The farmers wept. The boy grinned wide, running fingers across the smooth bed frame. Late that night, I walked the hallway, hearing soft snores and the boy's quiet laughter as he told stories to his grandfather. I pressed a hand to the wall. It felt warmer than ever. With Serena gone, I called a full board meeting. Marcus sat on my right, documents clear, eyes sharp but kind. I spoke plainly. False rumors harmed us. Here is my medical report. My mind is sound, but leadership must be shared. I appointed Marcus chief operating officer and added Mabel to the welfare committee. Unheard of, a cook on the board, but I wanted fresh eyes. We launched a truth campaign, open books, monthly health checks for staff, and public farm gate forums. Investors returned. Share prices rose slowly, but I cared more for the new mood. Trust growing like young cocoa shoots after rain. A month later, a letter arrived from the women's prison outside Lagos. It was addressed to me, but enclosed a smaller note for Marcus. Serena's handwriting looked shaky. Serena's letter to me. Mother, I cannot erase my wrong. I am sorry for every lie, every pill, every forged line. Thank you for paying my mother's bills. You showed me power with an open hand. I hope one day to be worthy of such mercy. Serena's note to Marcus. Marcus, I loved the life you gave me, but I loved my hunger for even greater things. I am sorry. May you find a partner whose truth matches yours. Marcus read the note twice, folded it, and slid it into a drawer. Pain still sat in his chest, but the stab had dulled to an ache. He walked outside, saw farmers laughing with house staff, and I watched the ache ease a little more. That night, I walked the veranda alone. The mansion lights glowed soft, not harsh. From the guest wing came a gentle hymn, the farmers giving thanks before sleep. The wind carried the scent of cocoa blossoms. I closed my eyes, letting it wrap me like a calm blanket. I thought of Serena, bright silk, honey laughter, hidden claws. I thought of Marcus, stronger now through hurt. I thought of pills that healed and pills that harmed, and I breathed out, slow and deep. The house had learned its lesson. Wealth without mercy is brittle. Power without justice is poison. I touched the old cufflink on my collar. My late husband once said, "Good land, good heart, tend both." I am still tending. I whispered into the night. Somewhere beyond the walls, the boy who watered the cocoa seedlings dreamed of future harvests. The mansion rested, no longer a stage for deceit, but a home shining quietly. Its halls echoing not with false laughter, but with real hope. Proof to me that even wounds carved by hidden claws can heal when hands open at last.